SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to have a quick look, another closer look in fact, of XRP and the signal that was generated over here on the weekly. So yesterday I made this video based on the Binance chart, which doesn't go back that far, about 3-4 years, which is fair enough. And you know, as far as I could see, this is the first time it's ever happened, this pump signal generated on a weekly for its Bitcoin pair. It's a decent signal. I can't complain with it, and as you know, I didn't bother to look back on any charts until last night to see if it had ever happened before, because as far as I could see, at least on the over the last 4 or 5 years, it hasn't happened. But I did find, going back on this chart, which goes back a lot further, that there is another example of this actually happening, and there was a pretty amazing response to it. So before we quickly look at that, I'll just take you over to the XRP to USDT pair. Recognize that you can't translate the prices in advance. When people will say what will be the price on a pullback if XRP goes back to that amount of sats. I mean, you can't really do that because we don't know what the price of Bitcoin will be. You can't transfer that information anywhere outside of the current moment in time. So currently we're sitting at what, just short of 49 cents, and the Bitcoin pair is what, 2,550 sats. So that's fine, you can do that. But as for next week and the week after that and the week after that, we don't know. There's no way to do it. But what we're looking for here, well, I suppose, would be supports, resistances that might transfer roughly in the future. The most important thing to recognize for XRP is that on the tether pair, any day that we're above a 200 exponential is a good day. This is where big moves can take place. They can take place at any point, and it's the same for any chart, but for XRP it definitely has a very strong relationship with the 200 exponential. So resistances, reclaiming it, retest support, and bang, accumulation around there, retest it, breakdown, retest it, bang. And then obviously breakdowns over here, resistance, bang, 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 reclaims, bang, bang, bang. Anyway, the observation is constant. Supports around here, breakdown, big blah 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 blah. You can go on forever, and this is just Binance's chart. So again, like I say, you can't underestimate the power of being above the 200 exponential for XRP and the explosive move that could take place anytime while being above it, because it could. Now let's get back to this chart. So yeah, like I say, the pump signal generated on the weekly, that's been here in play now for a few weeks. So it was generated around this level. You can go all around. It doesn't really matter where we go. We can go straight up. We can come down to test maybe a major area of support. I would highlight this area. If we don't get support on this 200 exponential where we are at right now, which again, can't underestimate that power. This is a weekly as well. Then maybe a 10 exponential would be the one. Currently coming in this week is another 15% drop with its Bitcoin pair. Don't get too upset if you see that kind of thing. It might be the opportunity of a lifetime, and I'll show you why. So like I say, I backtested this last night. We were having a look on the live stream, and what we found was that there was another example of this pump signal being generated. It was generated a little while back. In fact, over here, this is where we saw the last one of these pump signals. So this Chiku span coming out of here is 26 periods behind. So we just think about that, 26 periods in front. So we're talking about this candle body, open and close. So these are weekly candle bodies, by the way. So it was generated on this candle body close and this candle body open. Recognize that we dumped afterwards, so we spent 1, 2, 3 weeks going down and found ourselves a support on the 10 exponential on a weekly. Shortly after that, we did do a pump. I've got this on a log scale. I'll turn it off the log scale. We can see the size of the pump, and this is in May. So this isn't the bull market top for crypto. That took place over here. This was something else. This was something else that was given to us from XRP alone, and it generated a move of 884% from the retest of that moving average, following the pump signal on the weekly, the same pump signal that we've been given ever so recently, just over here. So it has happened in the past. So yesterday, like I say, I was wrong. It has happened before, and the results were an 884% pump on its Bitcoin pair. So obviously, you know, when it comes to, you know, what markets were like back then, XRP was different, market was different, the market cap of all crypto was way smaller than it is right now. I mean, it was minuscule, it was minute in comparison. So there is that allows for a big, massive move like this. And also, when you get a pump signal like this, what you should really think about doing is that this isn't a trend signal, this is a pump signal. It makes sense really when you see something like this and go, okay, pump signal, there you go, there's a pump. It wasn't a trend, it was a pump. Pumped all the way up, retraced more or less back to, in fact, even lower than where we started from, and then went on to make a, you know, I suppose a new all-time high for its tether pair, not so much for its Bitcoin pair. But so like I say, it has happened before. But recognise the difference being the immaturity of the market, the ability to pump a coin like XRP back in those days, you know, to such extremes, well, it was a lot easier. It was a lot easier. Less money involved, bigger moves. This is why we see things on KuCoin that move and you go, wow, wouldn't that be great to have bought that back down there? I could have put my life savings there. No, you couldn't. You couldn't have put your life savings in. The liquidity wouldn't have allowed for it. You would have spiked the chart on your own. So no. And so when you see a move like this or a signal like this, the reasonable thing to do would be to measure out, you know, what's the next major area of resistance. So if we were to move from here, the next major area, and I'm talking huge major area, is going to be this level here. It's about 4,173 sats, give or take. So from where we are right now, it's not the biggest move in the world. If we were to, you know, for whatever reason, launch from this 200 exponential moving average, that's a further 60, almost 62% move from where we're at right now. If we did what we did last time, which is drip down into the next major moving average of significance, one that's in an uptrend, being this 10 exponential, 15.5% drop from where we're at right now, and then the pump could take us up to the tune of about 92%. So the target really from this signal, if it were to play, would be around 92%. And again, you know, it can obviously move on from there. If it were to move on from there, reclaim there and carry on, then we're talking even bigger moves. We'd be talking up into the 6,600 sat zone. I suppose there's no point in measuring these things out, but I suppose if I want to excite people for whatever reason, or maybe even form some kind of clickbait title, I'll need to do it, because I suppose these are tangible areas of resistance that we would be, you know, it's not impossible to expect. Although this one being 238% move is definitely more along the lines of clickbait than reality. Either way, like I say, I thought I'd make an update on that video that I made yesterday, which is that, yeah, we do have a pump signal. It is on the weekly. It is on a Bitcoin pair. We can't translate that over to Tether, so we don't know what the price of XRP would be as a result of this move, but we can look at sats and think about where we could pump up to, and also where we could pump from. So long story short, we could pump from where we are at this very moment in time. That's a possibility. Or we dump down by 15%, and from there we pump all the way back up to around, what, 4,100 sats. It's not an unlikely scenario, I'll tell you that. It's definitely not an unlikely scenario. There's no reason to doubt a signal like this, especially when it's on a Bitcoin pair, because it doesn't really this could happen in the form of a downtrend or an uptrend or just a sideways market. This isn't actual, you know, dollars, pounds, euros, or anything like that. This is strength or weakness compared to Bitcoin, and we can already recognize that actually, yeah, there is definitely strength in comparison to Bitcoin. I'd argue actually that recently this has been one of the strongest coins out there. You probably recognize that yourself. On all time frames of all pairs, whether it's Tether or Bitcoin, it still remains strong. But for this move to play out, we are focused mostly on exclusively on a weekly. So we look at what this could look like on a weekly, and given to what happened to it last time it formed something like this, it did pull back into the 10 exponential, and then from there went up 800%, almost 900%. Not saying it's going to do that this time, but the setup is exactly the same. And if there's one thing about XRP that I like more than most other coins, is that because of its long history, it's been around for a long time. This is not even the beginning of the chart. It does date back to 2013, but we've got an 8 years an 8-year chart here. So it's relatively good to look at when you're thinking about price, volume, and time, as where all indicators are derived from. We've definitely got price, volume, and time here. You know, it's 8 years worth of price action. You don't get that with many altcoins, and so it's nice to see that, yeah, we did have a signal like this. It worked out to that extent. In fact, that was the one that generated its actual all-time high when it comes to its Bitcoin pair. This was its actual all-time high. Yeah, we saw an all-time high with its Tether pair, but when it came to its Bitcoin pair, the all-time high was put in around here, around May. in May 2017. So I thought I'd just clarify the situation with XRP, why it looks so good. I'm not saying it's going to have to play, it doesn't have to play out at all. These signals are, I'd say, about 70% likely, so the odds are in your favour for this sort of move to play, and you wouldn't be expecting 800%, you'd be more along the lines of looking for about between 60 and 100, depending on if we pump from here or pump from down here. Now, I'm not suggesting you buy it. Obviously, the signal that I told everybody about was about 4 weeks ago, and that's when we really started to move from around these levels. So, you know, if anyone were to have picked up on the original signal, which did obviously play out to a large extent, like I said it would do 40%. People are like, "Now, what are you talking about?" I said, well, I'm not saying it's going to. Obviously, it's all about risk to reward, but the signal's there, the setup is there, and the setup worked in the face of a bearish market. So we've got another setup here, similar kind of setup. In fact, it's almost identical. This is on a weekly, so it might take several weeks, maybe even longer, to play out, but it has been generated. It's the same signal that we saw previously when we said there was going to be a 40% move. Now we've got another one on a higher term time frame, which offers, you know, a 60 to 90% move. So there you go. I thought I'd put it all out there. It has happened before, and it led to XRP creating a new all-time high. That's never been. That was it. Back in May 2017, we got the same setup. It is there. Anyway, I thought I'd bring it to your attention. It's just something to think about. It doesn't have to happen, but it's definitely there. And yeah, so I'll leave it with you there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm sure there'll be some divisive thoughts surrounding this setup, obviously, but I'm just bringing it to your attention. It is what it is. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.